Hey guys, so in today's video I wanted to show you how I crocheted this little turtle here. I actually worked on this pattern yesterday and I think it turned out really adorable. I do feel like the body portion is a little bit big for his head, but you know what, I honestly don't mind it. This was the first time I made it, so you know I have little adjustments here and there. For this video I do plan to make the head a little bit bigger, but yes, this is my first draft of my turtle, and isn't it adorable? So cute. Anyways, if you're interested in making this turtle, go ahead and follow the rest of this video. For this project, you will be needing some yarn, and if you can probably guess, it is my favorite, the 1 pound yarn. This one is for the body portion, and then I have sugar and cream for the shell. You don't need to do 2 different yarns. I just wanted a variegated color for the shell portion, but if you are doing 2 different types of yarn, just make sure it's the same weight. And then I have here my glue gun, and that's because if you know me by now, I don't like to sew, so I'm gonna glue on the little feet and the head. I have my stitch markers. You need some fiberfill and then scissors, of course, and today I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook. I forgot to mention, but you will be needing some safety eyes, and I buy mine off of Wish. And then here I have some embroidery yarn, and this is what I use to create the mouth for the turtle, the little smile, but you can also use yarn. I'm going to start off with the shell portion, so I'm using the sugar and cream, the variegated yarn, and I'm going to start off with round 1, which is going to be our magic circle. So I do have a separate video if you need more clear instructions, but we're going to wrap our yarn around 3 fingers, 3 or 2, then I let go. So next I'm going to take my hook and put it into the circle and grab some of this yarn. So now that I have pulled some yarn through, I'm going to yarn over my hook and pull through. So this way you can tighten your circle up by pulling on this yarn. But next we're going to single crochet 6 times into the circle. So a single crochet is going into the hook, taking some of this yarn through, yarning over, and pulling through. So I'm going to go ahead and do that 5 more times into my magic circle. Once you finish single crocheting 6 times into the circle, you can go ahead and pull on this string, and then it'll just tighten up your circle. So after you do that, to end off this round, you want to slip stitch into your first stitch. So a slip stitch is just going straight into your stitch, taking some of that yarn, no yarning over anything, just pull straight through. And then at this point, you just want to insert your stitch marker into that last stitch. Okay, so for round 2, we're just going to increase into every stitch, and an increase is just single crocheting 2 times into each stitch. And if you single crochet 2 times into each stitch, you're going to end up with 12 stitches in total for round 2. On round 3, we're going to increase into the first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. You want to repeat that all the way through until you end up with 18 stitches in total for round 3. Okay, so when I was making up this pattern, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to switch off my increases. So for this round, I wanted to start off with a single crochet into the first 2 stitches. And then I'm going to increase into my next stitch. And I'll repeat that all the way through. The reason I did that was because I was reading that if you have like lopsided circles, this way it'll make it even, and I did find that it looks pretty even to me, so I kind of like the method of switching my increases on and off, well, for each round I mean. On round 4, you should have ended up with 24 stitches in total. Moving on to round 5, we're going to increase into the first stitch, so 2 single crochets, and then you want to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And you want to repeat that all the way through until you end up with 30 stitches in total for round 5. Round 6 will be my last increasing round, and we're going to start off by single crocheting into the first 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. Then next you want to increase into the next stitch, so 2 single crochets. Once you repeat that all the way through, you should end up with 36 stitches in total for round 6. For rounds 7 to 11, you're just going to single crochet into each round, and that's going to create our shell for our turtle. Once you finish round 7 to 11, this is what it should look like. and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, this is probably like one of the fastest videos I'll film. But anyways, moving on to round 12, we're going to be working into the back loops only. So if you're holding your project like this is the front of your stitch and this is the back. So what we're going to do is first decrease into our first stitch. So again, because we're going into the back loops, we just want to insert a hook just like that, pull some yarn through. Then you want to go into your next stitch, pull some of this yarn through. So you have 3 loops. You want to yarn over and pull through all 3. So next you're going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Oh my gosh, how many times have I said next? 2, 3, and then 4. Remember, just the back loops only. I just wanted to show you the decrease one more time. You're going to go into your back stitch, the next stitch, yarn over and pull through all 3. So the reason you're going into the back stitch only is because we want this part to be our flat surface and we're going to close it this way. And then also round 12 you should end up with 30 stitches in total. I totally just jinxed myself because in that last clip I said this was going to be the easiest or shortest to film, but literally had to redo this round like so many times because I kept miscounting. But anyways, moving on to round 13, we're going to single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and this time it's no back loop or anything, it's just your regular stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, and then next we're going to decrease, and it's our normal decrease. So just go into the stitch, the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. So for this round you're going to repeat all of that and you'll end up with 24 stitches in total for round 13. For round 14 we're going to start with the decrease, and then you're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches and repeat that all the way through until you end up with 18 stitches in total for round 14. At this point you can start stuffing your little shell, but I'm the type of person who kind of likes to stuff it all the way when there's like no space left. But from now on all you're gonna do is just decrease the entire round until it closes. I just finished the bottom portion of the shell and I didn't secure it off yet because I wanted to show you how I do that. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you another thing first. So with this turtle, you can see it's a little bit bigger and it's literally the same pattern, but it definitely depends on how much you stuff it. I didn't want to stuff it too much this time, but you know, if you want it bigger, of course, go ahead, do you. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how stuffing can make a difference. I mean, you probably can't even tell, but I feel like this one will work better with the size of this head if you don't overstuff it. And it will probably stand better. This stands fine, but yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. Anyways, let me show you how I close this. So what you do is once you finish your last decrease, you just cut off the excess yarn. And then what I do here is just pull it up a little bit and take this string and put it into your circle. And that's one way your thread won't come loose. Next, I take my crochet hook and insert it into any of these closest stitches on the other side. Take some of this yarn and pull it through. Don't pull it through all the way. Let's see if I can pull it just like that until you get another loop. Take your yarn and pull it through the circle. And then you want to keep doing that, and once you're done, you can just stuff this string or the excess yarn in there. But first I wanted to secure it a little bit more. I just wanted to show you how I close it. Here's a little behind the scenes. That is my little filming area, and here's my little filming buddy taking a little nap because a little bit too much crocheting today, right, Tycho? Moving on to our turtle's head, I'm switching to my green yarn from 1 pound, and we're going to do our magic circle, which I've already done, but this time you're only crocheting 5 times into your circle. So currently I have 4 stitches and I'm working on my 5th one. And to close it off, it's going to be the same thing. You just want to slip stitch into your first stitch. And then you just go ahead and put your stitch marker into that last stitch. So round 1 is your magic circle and 5 single crochets. Round 2, we're just going to increase into every stitch, so that's 2 single crochets into each stitch, and you will end up with a total of 10 stitches in round 2. Round 3, we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then you're going to increase into your next stitch and repeat that all the way through until you end up with a total of 15 stitches in round 3. Round 4 is our last increasing round, so we're going to start off with an increase, and then you're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and you'll repeat that all the way through until you end up with a total of 20 stitches in round 4. For rounds 5 to 7, you're just going to single crochet into each round. For round 8, we're going to start our decreasing round, and because this is smaller, we want to do an invisible decrease. So we're going to go into the front loop only, and we're starting off with a decrease. So same as a decrease we did before, it's just going only into the front loops, and then you want to single crochet into the next 2 stitches and repeat that all the way through until you end up with a total of 15 stitches in round 8. Once round 8 is complete, this is what it looks like, and if you have a tougher time working in smaller spaces, you can go ahead and put on the safety eyes and sew on the mouth, but I'm gonna do another round before I do that because I can't do it now. I have to make it smaller. For round 9, we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're going to do our invisible decrease in the front loop only, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way through until I end up with a total of 10 stitches in round 9. After my last round of decreases, I went ahead and put on the safety eyes and sewed on a mouth, and I stuffed it as well, so this is what it looks like. So if you can see on my turtle doesn't really have a neck, which honestly I don't mind. But if you want to have a neck, you can go ahead and crochet like 2 rounds or 3 rounds of single crochets, but you know what, I didn't want to, so this is what mine looks like. But I just wanted to give you an option if you wanted something a little bit longer. So for our little turtle legs, which is honestly the worst part, I hate it so much, you're going to basically do your magic circle and single crochet into the circle 6 times. So once you're done with this part, you just want to do 2 more rows of single crochets. The reason it's difficult is, let me show you how the legs look. So you need 4 of them, obviously, and when you're single crocheting, like, you have such a tight space, and I just struggle with that. But I mean, it's not much to do. Well, you have to do 4, but honestly, this part makes me want to cry, but it'll be worth it in the end. I just did round 2, which again is just a single crochet all the way around, and what you want to do now is just push your project to make sure it goes the right way, and then you see this little circle here. You can easily close that by pulling your string, which closes the magic circle. I mean, not as much, but you know, it does something. And then next you just want to do your last round of single crochets. Once I'm done with my last round, I just cut off the excess yarn, and then I do the same thing as I've been doing earlier. I just put the excess yarn through the circle and just secure that. So what I do next is just I stuff this hanging thread and I just put it back into the legs, so it'll also help fluff up the legs. Once you're done, this is what it should look like, and then we'll glue this on later. Last but not least, we're going to create our little tail, and when I originally was writing my pattern, I actually had this longer, but then I feel like it looks a little bit cuter when it's short because it can easily stand up. But you're going to first start off with a slip knot. So what I do is take my yarn, twist it, pull that yarn through. Next, we're going to create a chain of 5. So a chain is yarning over and pulling through. 3, 4, 5. If you want it longer, go ahead and make it longer. It's all up to you. But next, we're going to single crochet back into our chain. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all you had to do was cut off the excess piece of yarn and just pull through like that, and then you'll just attach it onto your turtle like this. At this point, we should have all our pieces done. So what we're going to do is glue our things on. So what I like to start off with is the head, and I just like to find the placement and, you know, figure out where I like it best, and then I'm gonna glue that on. I'm gonna glue that on off camera because I'm not really near an outlet right now, but I'm gonna glue the head on first, and then I'll glue on the legs and then tie on the tail. Okay, so I just glued on the head and this is what it looks like. So for this turtle, I glued on the feet a little bit inside of the shell, but this time I think I want to glue it a little bit off to the edge, and then we'll see how that turns out. I finished attaching everything and tying my little tail on, and this is what it looks like. Isn't he so cute? So if you watch this video and you followed along, thank you for watching, and I hope it was really easy to follow. And now we all have turtles.